your side, you're not denying the fact that to some degree there's a compromise of privacy. It's just not enough to count. And I want to know why that is. Where is your line, Stewart Baker, on just how willing to be spied on you are?
There's no doubt that when the government collects data, everybody in a democracy ought to be concerned and want to make sure that it is handled in as privacy protective a fashion as possible, consistent with actually having it be effective. The difficulty here is, or the protections here are built into the back end of the system. That is to say, the government has the data, but just because it has it doesn't mean it's allowed to look at it. It's set up a whole set of rules, court enforced, aggressively audited, limited number of people who can get access to this data, and clear rules for when they can do it to make it much more like the rules that apply to ordinary searches by law enforcement, which is you have a suspicion and you ask a question about the person or in this case, the phone number that you have a suspicion about. They don't have any ability to look at people for...
So in answer to my question, if the safeguards were not in place, you would have a great deal more concern.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let me take that to the other side. They're arguing that, in fact, while that data is there, that there are built-in safeguards, and those things are for real. There's a process through which governments need to go, the government needs to go in order to dig more deeply into that pile of data. But Michael German, do you trust in the safeguards, or what is your response to their basic argument that maybe it's not so nice, but it's safe?
Well, I guess the easy two-word response would be Edward Snowden. Right? If this data and all this stuff was so protected and so well regulated and so controlled, how would Edward Snowden have gotten so much access to it? And luckily, because Edward Snowden did get so much access to it, and because we are still benefiting even this week from information that's coming forward, what has become clearer and clearer is that the FISA court was being the NSA was misrepresenting the program, I'll say that in the nicest way, and continually going beyond the scope of the minimization procedures and the rules to the extent that in 2011, Judge Bates said it was unconstitutional. With the
Bottom
NSA.
line, then, are you saying that you don't trust the system?
I don't trust any system that doesn't have effective public oversight.